Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show. In today's episode, I will be doing New Orleans Saints draft targets and some players they could be looking to get in the 2021 NFL draft in the first round. So let's just get into it. So their defense was weird last year. They definitely have some playmakers. Their defensive line is very solid. They have a good linebacker in Demario Davis. They did lose Trey Hendrickson, who was really good last year. They have that Davenport. They have Tuttle, and they have that defensive tackle who was really good last year in Anya Mena. I don't know how to say his name right, but hopefully I said it right. And then you have Anyumata, maybe that's how you say it. Then you have Cameron Jordan, one of the better edge rushers in the league, a very solid edge rusher. So yeah, this defensive line is very solid. And then you have Demario Davis, who is another solid guy. Other than that, a linebacker, I don't really see too much there. And then you go to cornerback and safety. Their safeties are just hanging on by a thread. I think Marcus Williams is okay. Jenkins is definitely getting up there in age. Um, you know, they're hanging on like on the last thread for safety. They're barely hanging on. Corners are a big question in my opinion. At 28, maybe they target a guy like Greg Newsome. Maybe if Caleb Farley drops as far as possible. Because Caleb Farley, with the back surgery and all that stuff, he has really seemed to drop down a lot of boards pretty far. So it's a possibility that he's here because Lattimore, he's too inconsistent. There's there's a lot of times where he starts out the year really good, like one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and then down the stretch he's terrible. When you need him the most, he's terrible. It's kind of weird. The better receiver you pair him up with, the better he plays, which is really weird. But at the same time, you need someone else. I don't think Lattimore's that guy. And then you go the Chauncey Gardner Johnson. I think he's a decent cornerback. He could come off and blitzes once in a while. He's really good cornerback. Outside of that, they don't really have much. They don't really have much regardless. Lattimore's there once in a while. He plays good once in a while. Gardner Johnson plays good once in a while. So maybe they go after a corner and Greg Newsome or Farley if he drops there. Maybe even Greg Newsome isn't there. Maybe neither are there, which is a very possibility. And if neither are there, I could see them maybe going after a guy in Jamin Davis. He's a linebacker from Kentucky. He is a really good linebacker that some people are sleeping on. He's not talked about enough. I think he is a first round talent. Um, or an early second. Jamin Davis would be a really solid pick for the Saints. He would really boost that linebacker core. But then, if Greg Newsome or Caleb Farley drop here, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you take one of them. And now you move over to the offensive side of the ball. The offensive line is solid. The Saints have always had a really good offensive line for quite some time now. Outside of Michael Thomas, you don't really have much at receiver. You need a receiver. Um, Tight end, not really much there. You have that Trotman. He was okay last year. Obviously, you lost Jared Cook. You lost Manuel Sanders. Definitely lost a few players there. Um, and then you go to quarterback. The big controversy between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Who do they go with? They paid Taysom Hill that big voidable contract, which is different in my opinion. I didn't wasn't expecting that much money for Taysom Hill. That's more than Russell Wilson, um, which is crazy. I don't know if he's a quality starting back in this league. Maybe he's a quality backup that gives you a chance to win every game. I don't think he's that game changer that's really going to be the reason why you win every game. Maybe there's one or two games in the season there that he actually won for you, but you also gotta you need guys who's going to be able to be good all the time. I don't think Taysom Hill is that game changer that the Saints want. It's going to be very difficult to fill the shoes of Drew Brees. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback due to the spot they're in. And, I just don't see it with two quarterbacks and the quarterback controversy they have on the roster right now between Winston and Hill. Winston is a solid quarterback. He's got some he's definitely got some potential. If he could cut down a little bit on his interceptions, he'd be an extremely good quarterback. Just a few years ago, he threw 30 touchdowns, over 30, but he threw 30 interceptions, which is his problem, obviously. But then you go to Taysom Hill, he's a really good running quarterback. He's up there with the best running quarterbacks in the league. Um, but he just doesn't have that wow factor. If you ask me, yeah, he could always line up wide. He's always in those wildcats and those just the quarterback runs. Maybe he could even line up at tight end. He could line up at receiver. I'm just not that high on Taysom Hill. Maybe you throw him in there for a few games and like they didn't, and he performed fine. But now that tape is out on Taysom Hill, I don't see Taysom Hill doing anything. I really don't. He kind of reminds me of what's his name for the Broncos that the Broncos drafted, Tim Tebow. Kind of reminds me of Tim Tebow because Tim Tebow, he didn't do anything great. He was a solid runner just like Taysom Hill, and he could really run at times. A solid runner, but never really excelled at one thing. Never had that one strength. Never had that wow factor. Of course he did a few times with some nice throws and stuff. But once the tape is out on Taysom Hill, and since the tape is out now, and I just don't see it. I don't see it in Taysom Hill. I'd rather start Jameis Winston if you ask me. Um, but yeah, so maybe they go after a wide receiver here. Maybe they take Kadarius Toney if he drops here. I could see that. Maybe Elijah Moore drops here. Elijah Moore is one of the best receivers footwork wise. He gives Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase a run for their money in that aspect. I think the Saints could go many ways in this draft, but if it all depends on how the draft shapes out. I think Kadarius Toney will be there. I think there's a solid chance he's there. At 28, I really think Jamin Davis will probably be there at 28. I don't know if Greg Newsom or Farley will be there at 28. It all depends on how the draft falls. So yeah, I guess we will see what really goes on. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Really appreciate it going for 140 before the draft. Um, so yeah, I'll catch you next time.